Welcome listener to our channel of storytelling and audiobooks. If you enjoy our stories, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. The Stars Within, The Inspiring Life of Stephen Hawking. A journey through resilience, curiosity, and the infinite potential of the human spirit. Chapter 1, A Quiet Beginning. It was a cold winter day on January 8, 1942, when Stephen William Hawking was born in Oxford, England. The world was in the middle of World War II. Bombs had fallen, cities were wounded, and humanity was questioning everything about its future. But in the quiet corner of a small house, a child was born who would go on to challenge the very fabric of the universe, not with weapons, but with thought. His birth date, January 8, happened to fall exactly 300 years after the death of Galileo Galilei. While that might sound like mere coincidence, it's a poetic one. Galileo explored the skies with a telescope. Stephen would go far beyond that, using his mind to explore black holes, the nature of time, and the fate of the cosmos. From the very beginning, Stephen Hawking was curious. But he wasn't what you'd call a typical genius. His schoolwork was average. He was often seen as lazy, and his handwriting was nearly illegible. But his teachers noticed something different. When Stephen spoke, he asked questions no one else even thought to ask. Not, what is the answer, but, why is that the answer? Not, how does this work, but, why does it work at all? He loved building things. He once built a working computer out of old clock parts, a telephone switchboard, and scraps he found in the garage. He didn't just want to learn about the world. He wanted to know how it worked underneath everything we could see. His childhood wasn't filled with trophies and certificates. It was filled with books, questions, and wonder. Chapter 2, The Student Who Looked to the Stars. At the age of 17, Stephen won a scholarship to Oxford University. His father hoped he would study medicine, but Stephen chose physics. He wanted to understand the universe itself. At Oxford, he found the lectures easy, even boring. He rarely studied and often finished assignments at the last minute. He made a bet with a friend that he could get through university by studying just 1 hour a day. And somehow, he did. His natural talent was undeniable. Outside of class, he rowed for his college's boat team. His thin frame made him a perfect coxswain, the person who steers the boat and sets the rhythm. Even then, he preferred directing motion to making it himself. It's as if his body knew it would someday need to conserve its energy. In his final year, he faced an oral exam. The professors asked tough questions. Stephen, charming and clever, said with a grin, "If I get a first-class degree, I'll go to Cambridge. If I get a second, I'll stay at Oxford. So I hope you're giving me a first." He got the first-class honors he needed and headed to Cambridge to pursue cosmology, the study of the origin and structure of the universe. But just as the stars were beginning to align in his life, something went terribly wrong. Chapter 3, A Shocking Diagnosis. Stephen was just 21 years old when he noticed something strange. He began stumbling. His hands didn't always do what he wanted. His speech slurred. One time, he fell down the stairs. At first, he thought it was clumsiness. But as the symptoms worsened, he sought medical advice. After many tests, the doctors told him something no young man wants to hear: he had amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. The disease was degenerative. It would slowly rob him of his ability to move, speak, and eventually even breathe on his own. They gave him 2 years to live. Imagine being 21, with dreams of unlocking the secrets of the universe, then being told you wouldn't live long enough to finish your studies. Stephen went into a deep depression. He stopped going to class. He stayed in his room, staring at the ceiling, wondering what the point of anything was. But fate had not finished with Stephen Hawking. Chapter 4, The Light Called Jane. Around this time, Stephen met Jane Wilde, a fellow student. She was lively, spiritual, and optimistic. Where Stephen saw darkness, Jane saw possibility. She didn't shy away from his diagnosis. She embraced him with open arms and said, "Let's make the most of the time we have." Their love became a lifeline. Stephen later said, Jane gave me something to live for. With her support, he returned to his studies. He began working harder than ever, not to beat the disease, but to live fully in spite of it. They married in 1965, and soon after, their first child was born. It seemed impossible. How could someone losing control of his body raise a family, write papers, lecture, and study black holes? But Stephen did all of it. Slowly, he lost the ability to walk. Then the ability to write. But as his physical world shrank, his mental universe expanded. Chapter 5, Thinking in the Dark. Without being able to write equations or scribble ideas on paper, Stephen learned to think in pictures. He visualized complex theories in his mind, rotating shapes, bending time, folding dimensions, all in silence. His most groundbreaking idea came in 1974. He challenged the prevailing belief that black holes were completely inescapable. He proposed that, due to quantum effects, black holes could leak small amounts of radiation, now famously called Hawking radiation. It was a stunning idea. It showed that even the darkest places in the universe might not be completely final. There could be escape. There could be release. It was also a metaphor for his life. Even as he felt pulled into his own black hole, he kept radiating light, knowledge, humor, hope. Chapter 6, A Brief History of Everything. In 1988, Stephen published A Brief History of Time. The goal was simple: explain the nature of the universe in a way everyday people could understand. His publishers warned him, every equation in the book would cut sales in half. So, Stephen only included one, E equals mc squared. The book became a global sensation. It stayed on the Sunday Times bestseller list for over 4 years, a record. It was translated into dozens of languages and sold more than 25 million copies. People who had never taken a physics class found themselves captivated by Hawking's words. He had made the universe feel personal. He had reminded people that we were all part of something vast, beautiful, and mysterious. And behind every word was a man who typed using only a few twitches of a cheek muscle. Chapter 7, Fame and Fun. Stephen Hawking became a household name. He traveled the world, lecturing, meeting presidents and popes, scientists and schoolchildren. But despite the seriousness of his work, he never lost his sense of humor. He appeared on The Simpsons, Star Trek, The Next Generation, and The Big Bang Theory. He once said, "Life would be tragic if it weren't funny." He also became a fierce advocate for people with disabilities. His very existence proved that physical limitations did not define a person's worth or potential. He inspired people from all walks of life, especially those facing challenges, to pursue their dreams, however impossible they seemed. Chapter 8, Setbacks and Stardust. Over the years, Stephen faced many health scares. In 1985, he contracted pneumonia and had to undergo a tracheotomy, which left him unable to speak. From then on, he communicated using a computerized voice system, slow, robotic, and unforgettable. He once joked that it gave him an American accent and made him sound smarter than he really was. He faced personal challenges too. His marriage to Jane ended after many years, though they remained close. He later remarried his nurse, though that relationship too ended in divorce. Through it all, Stephen continued working, writing books, mentoring students, and appearing on television to promote science. His goal was never to become famous. His goal was always the same: to know. Chapter 9, Lessons from the Edge of Time. Stephen Hawking's work wasn't just about black holes and time travel. It was about something much deeper: the human drive to understand, to explore, and to survive. He believed science could answer the biggest questions. Why are we here? Where did we come from? What is the fate of the universe? But he also believed in the power of ordinary people. Look up at the stars, he once said, not down at your feet. He reminded us that we are all made of the same stuff as stars, that within each of us, there is brilliance waiting to shine. Chapter 10, A Star Returns to the Sky. Stephen Hawking passed away peacefully on March 14, 2018, at the age of 76. The date was no coincidence. It was Einstein's birthday and also Pi Day, a celebration of the infinite. His ashes were interred at Westminster Abbey in London, between the graves of Sir Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin. In that hallowed space, Stephen Hawking found his place among the giants of human understanding. But his real legacy is not in a grave or even in his books. It lives in every young scientist who dreams of the stars. It lives in every person who finds courage in the face of difficulty. It lives in the hearts of all who dare to ask, why? What if? Stephen Hawking's life is not just a story of science. It is a story of hope, of resilience, and of the unbreakable power of the human spirit. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the incredible life of Stephen Hawking. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more powerful tales of visionaries, dreamers, and heroes who shaped the world.